Hey, I'm Avery. I'm 23. I've got a few more months left in college, and I have no idea what I want to do with my life. A lot of the things that I've been seeing lately are saying that, if you do what you love and you do it with passion and you actually take the risk and step forward to do what you love, life kind of just unfolds in front of you. So this is me doing that. I've always loved, I guess since like middle of high school up until now, I've kind of got a grip of myself, like who I am as a person. And I love the idea that life is a lot more simple than we make it out to be, and that it seems sometimes. And so I want to start making videos. This is going to be the first installment of Sit Down, Shut Up, and Chill Out. I'm making these videos because growing up, I didn't really have a solid father figure. I had my grandfather who taught me so much about like who I am as a person, who I should be. But there are a lot of things that, that a father teaches you that a grandfather sometimes can't. So I grew up watching, I think I did what a lot of kids who grew up without a dad did. And I grew up watching a lot of movies of like these badass heroes and seeing these men and women who just had like such a solid idea of, not just in movies, but in life in general. Seeing people who had such a solid grasp of who they are and not really backing down from what they believe in. And that's really inspiring to somebody who doesn't really have a good grasp of who they are or who they want to be. Over the past couple of years, watching movies, watching people that I've met, I started taking note on, their philosophies of life, and like their personal morals. Because I was in desperate need of someone to base my future self on, which I guess is what most, little boys, little girls do that don't have a dad growing up. Over the years, I made a list of different ideas that I've had or seen in people that have stuck with me and really made an impression on me to the point where I want to just share them with kids who are maybe in the situation I was when I was a kid, or anyone who just kind of needs a reality check. So like I said, these videos are just going to be kind of a reality check, hopefully, for some people. And to let a lot of kids that don't know who they are or who they want to be, that it takes time. I still don't know. So maybe take this advice with a grain of salt, but hopefully you listen to it. Because I think I have a good understanding of what's important and what's not. It's taken a long time to kind of grasp that. But once you start realizing that life's not as hard as we make it out to be, you start to get happier. You start to relax more. You stop focusing on material things, which is something I'm still struggling with, and start focusing more on having less, putting more value in what actually matters in life, like your family, your values, your goals, what you're passionate about, and standing up for what you believe in. Like I said, I'm still struggling with a lot of this, but I'm 23. I'm still young. I got time to figure it out. I would have liked to figure it out before this, but we're starting now. There's no shame in that. And anyway, I hope these videos speak to somebody who's lost. I think we're all a little bit lost in terms of who we are, but one of the things that I love to think about is that I think it was Marcus Aurelius who was like, I guess, the father of Stoicism, which is something I'll talk about today. He said that we're all born, but we're all born for each other, which is kind of nice to think about. It kind of shows that we're all connected in at least one way. We're not here to make any enemies. living a life for love instead of temporary dopamine fixes is something a lot more meaningful than getting caught up in the shit that just doesn't matter. So what I want to talk about today is actually one of the principles of Stoicism, because I've been kind of captivated by Stoicism for the past couple of months for many reasons, because a lot of its principles and its like pillars of it have helped me with my anxiety. To get like vulnerable for a second, when I was in high school, I got diagnosed with a few mental things. One of them being like severe anxiety, and that it's not easy to get over. I don't think we get over it completely. For those of us who have it, but it's definitely manageable. It gets easier because you realize that like your brain's just kind of keeping you on guard because you might have been exposed to something that was horrible when you were younger or a few weeks ago. And it's hard to understand that like your brain, you rely on it, but sometimes it gets a little overprotective and makes you worried about things that you shouldn't be worried about. So the idea I want to talk about is that you absolutely have the option to choose how to react to something, whether it be good or bad. Sometimes we like subconsciously react to every situation we're in most of the time. We can turn a good situation into a bad one very quickly if we identify too much with how something makes us feel. Not to say that emotions are bad or shouldn't be felt. It's healthy to feel your emotions, anger, sadness. You don't want to keep that locked inside because it'll come back to bite you in the ass, or form an ulcer. So watch out for that. But a lot of our stress comes from focusing too much on the negative and the things that are out of our control instead of focusing on what we can control and giving up the uncontrollable to chance, just being okay with the outcome. A lot of, bad things are going to happen to you. You can't really change that. What you can change is your reaction to them and your mindset about them. Stoicism kind of speaks to seeing obstacles as opportunities. Anything that gets thrown in fire turns into flame. So you can look at something bad happening to you as the worst thing ever, or you can look at it as a chance to become a better person, which is something I feel like we all struggle with still. Something bad happens and we start feeling sorry for ourselves, and worrying about it, and both of those things aren't going to get you anywhere. So the more productive way of thinking about it is that, that shitty thing happening to you can make you a stronger man or woman, which I think is kind of calming to think about. But a lot of my life, I grew up thinking that to be a man, you had to show your anger and your strength in every way that you could, even if it wasn't called for. And because of that, I grew up not realizing that anger would change how my brain recognizes opportunity and kind of misconstrued what people's intentions were. Not to say I was like constantly causing issues, but a lot of my insecurities came from trying to decipher whether or not someone meant something in a way or if they were secretly making fun of me. Neither one of those things I could control, even if they were. No one cares as much as you think they do. Like if you're walking, if you're walking around and you start being insecure of something as the way you're walking, you think that everybody's looking at you or the way that your shirt's fitting. Growing up a big kid, I was always kind of on the heavier side. If you don't like the way that you look, you're not confident about it, you start thinking that like everybody else around you is seeing the insecurities that you have. In reality, they're too focused on their own insecurities to recognize yours. And, there are going to be some people who pointed out, I got bullied for a while in middle school. And that's hard to deal with as it is because, your insecurities are being brought to light at the peak of when you don't want them to. And when you're not comfortable with yourself, it takes a toll on you, it makes you even more insecure. But Another thing that I've realized is the people that make fun of you or shit on you for doing something, that's just an internal reflection of something they're insecure about themselves. Hate's never going to come from above you. It's always going to come from below you. Nobody who's doing better than you is going to take the time to make fun of you or shit on you for trying, which is nice to think about when I'm making these videos, because I know I'm going to catch shit for it. But, you know, the people that actually want me to do well in my life are going to support it and be proud of me. I am going to catch some shit from my friends, but that's fine. I'm still trying to figure everything out. They are too, so I'm not going to take it to heart. I'll get more on that in like a different video, but what I'm saying is like focusing on yourself for you and realizing that not everyone's opinion matters enough to not do something you love is one of the most amazing feelings in the world. Kind of opens up like this freedom that you probably haven't felt in a long time, probably since you were a kid, because you didn't care what like you wore or what you said when you were a kid. You were just saying it because it felt right, and you loved it. But if you love putting people down and like kicking homeless cats, that's a different issue, and one that you should probably be taking to a therapist ASAP. Don't do that for sure. Don't do that one. But if you love like Marvel, for example, if you're a Marvel geek and you get made fun of for wearing like an Iron Man shirt, who gives a shit? That interaction is going to last for maybe a few minutes, and you can choose whether or not to be angry about it. And trust me, deciding to let it roll off your back is a lot easier than feeding into someone who's reflecting a feeling of insecurity in themselves towards you. You gotta learn to pick your battles. If you decide to just let them talk, that doesn't make you weak. It makes you conservative in the amount of care you're giving someone who's obviously unhappy. And if it helps to think about it this way, I'm guilty of this. Think of it as not giving them the satisfaction of getting a reaction out of you and hopefully rethinking their intentions. Pretty much just making them feel stupid, which is a way more toxic way of thinking about it, but hey, we're not perfect. And we're getting over that shit every day. Pick your battles, only care about what matters, your family, your passion, your health, your friends, and standing up for what you believe in. The rest doesn't matter. So take it easy, stop stressing yourself out. Life's not short. I know you hear that it's short all the time. And it's because a lot of those people spend so much of their lives doing shit that they don't care about, just to be safe, to be secure. I know Jim Carrey said something. Security is fear disguised as practicality, which is something that really hit home with me because, you know, growing up, I guess I wanted to be an actor. Not really, but I want to do something important that's going to last and people can admire. Selfishly, I think we all want to be admired, but growing up, I felt like I would be a good actor. I wanted to be a doctor because my grandmother, she wanted me to be happy with whatever I did, but she really wanted me to be a doctor. And then I got to college, got my ass handed to me by Biology 101, and then I felt like shit about myself because I was like, man, I didn't put enough work into it. If I really wanted it, I should have put more work into it, and I should have prioritized it more, and I didn't, and I felt like shit about myself because of that. But then one of my best friends, his sister, went through the same situation. She was going to go to college to be a doctor, realized that she didn't want to be that halfway through, and instead she graduated, did something she really loved for like 2 years, and then took the time to figure out what she actually wanted to do, and now she's doing it and she loves it. And she told me that if that's really what you wanted to do, you would be doing it, which was comforting to hear because it's obviously, yeah, I could have done it. I could have made myself miserable and taken all these classes that I wasn't interested in, which I'm kind of doing now. But at this point, I just want to get out of college. I don't want to start life because this really isn't life. You're taking tests. Anyway, needless to say, if you love it, you'd be doing it right now. So you're not failing. You're just not doing what you're passionate about, and you need to take the time to figure that shit out immediately. I don't know where I was going with that, but you gotta stop stressing yourself out. Oh, life's short. It's not though. The people, like I said, people that feel as though life is short, is that life's just passing them by because they're doing everything that they don't want to do. They're doing it every single day, and like the days just fly by. But when you're taking the time to do something that you love, well, time slows down, and you start to enjoy life more. So, but at the end of your life, you don't want to look back on a life full of like unnecessary stress and arguments. So, I mean, figure out what's worth standing up for, and figure out what's worth giving a fuck about, and focus on that. Stop focusing on the shit that doesn't matter to you. You can't control the things that happen around you, but you can absolutely change how you react to them. And once you realize that not everything deserves a reaction, and you can choose to either not react or react out of love, life starts to seem a lot more simple and a lot more happy. We're in a world now where cutting someone off in traffic could lead to an argument, could lead to a fight, could lead to a lot of worse things. But having like the mindset of like, maybe they're in a hurry, maybe they're, maybe a loved one's in the hospital, maybe they're just having a shitty day, which we all have, and treat them as though you'd want to be treated if you were having a shitty day, with understanding, with love, with compassion, which I mean, I still have a hard time doing. It's not easy, and it takes practice, but it's so worth it, because then you're not angry all the time. You're not sad all the time. You're not going home and slamming your head against the wall because somebody, stole a shopping cart from you, or stole the last, packet of chicken from Walmart, which we still don't have. So just chill out. You're fine. Everything's going to be fine. Even if it's not temporarily okay, it'll pass, and things are going to be okay again. Don't give up on your peace. I feel like the one thing that we actually have control over is our inner peace, which sounds super hippie, but it's very true and it's very real. You have to protect that peace. If someone's putting you down, if you're around people who don't support you, it's your responsibility to distance yourself from those people, no matter who they are, which is extremely difficult if they're really close to you. But at the end of the day, you only have you, which I know sounds really dramatic, but it's true. At the end of the day, you lay in bed and you've only got you. So take care of you. Stop beating the shit out of yourself mentally. You're where you're supposed to be, but it's on you to figure out your life. So I mean, protect your peace, live a life full of actual passion and meaning. One of the guys that I really look up to, one of his videos, he said that have enough responsibility in your life to actually feel like you have some meaning. So find what you're passionate about, make something out of it, and take on that responsibility of sharing it with other people. Nothing that's so good, nothing's worth having if you can't share it with other people. Which is why I want to make these videos. I'm starting to realize that life is simple. After years of making it so stressful and unnecessarily quick, it's not gonna, having that mindset and that knowledge isn't worth having if I can't help other people realize that. Everything's gonna be all right. You're gonna be fine. Even if you're not, you have the choice to react to it, that it's gonna be fine. you're fine. You're good. Quit stressing. Just relax. But most of all, take care of yourself. Love yourself. It's hard to do, but you're worth it. You gotta realize that. That was the first installment of Sit Down, Shut Up, and Chill Out. I'm gonna try to do these like twice a week. I think it'll be good for me to kind of get all this shit out. Maybe it'll help somebody else. I hope it does. But see you guys next time. Chill out.